Think about this for just 1 second. This morning you woke up, made your coffee, filled up your car, went about your day. Completely normal, completely routine. But 4,000 kilometers away, something happened today that could make every single part of that routine, the coffee, the gas, the groceries, significantly more expensive by next week. Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz, and the entire world just stopped breathing. Now you're probably thinking, okay, what even is Hormuz? Where is it, and why should I care? Here's why you should care. 20% of the world's oil, that's 1 in every 5 tankers on the planet, passes through this one single choke point. And today, it's closed. Today we're going to understand exactly how Iran pulled this off, why they did it, and what the world can actually do about it. But before we get into the facts, let's get on a tanker, real time, because that's where this story actually lives. Look at a map, and Hormuz seems like nothing. A tiny gap between two countries, just 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. But that tiny gap is the most expensive stretch of water on the planet. And it gets worse. Tankers don't get to use all 33 kilometers. The entire traffic is squeezed into 2 lanes, each one only 3 kilometers wide, 1 lane going in, 1 lane going out. Now think about what that actually means. A ship the length of 3 football fields carrying 3,000 tons of crude oil that needs 15 minutes just to stop is threading through a 3-kilometer wide lane with no shoulder, no exits, and no room to turn. Imagine driving a truck the size of a skyscraper through a 2-lane tunnel at highway speed. You can't brake, you can't swerve. Whatever is in front of you, you're already committed. That's a normal day in Hormuz. This is not a normal day. And here's the part that makes Iran's position almost unfair. Iran doesn't just guard this strait, Iran is this strait. Both walls, the ceiling, the floor, everything. Qasem Island alone stretches 120 kilometers, running parallel to the narrowest section of the shipping lane. And sitting directly in the traffic lanes are the islands of Hormuz, Larak, and Abu Musa, each one with an IRGC garrison, radar stations, and weapons pointed directly at passing ships. There is no version of this transit where Iran is not watching you. There is no version where you are not within range. Now put yourself in the captain's seat. 6 a.m., engines ahead, 2 million barrels of crude oil in the hold, 25 crew members, no weapons, no escort, 90 nautical miles of Iranian coastline between you and open water. The first threat is one you will never see coming. Mines. Sitting just below the surface, tethered to the seabed on a steel cable. Magnetic sensor, acoustic sensor. Waiting for exactly one thing, the rumble and steel signature of a ship your size. Think of it as a mousetrap on the ocean floor, except the mouse weighs 3,000 tons and physically cannot change direction. Iran has somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 mines, more than any other country in the region, by a wide margin. And here's the part that makes mine sweeping nearly impossible. An IRGC fishing boat dropping mines looks exactly like a fishing boat pulling nets. There is no difference, you cannot tell. One mine costs around $1,000. The tanker it's aimed at is carrying $180 million worth of crude. That is the kind of return on investment that would make a Wall Street trader quit his job on the spot. But here's the genius of it. The mine doesn't even need to go off. The moment Iran started dropping mines, Lloyd's of London looked at the new reality and tripled war risk insurance premiums overnight. One single transit on a ship this size now costs millions more than it did last week. The mine sitting on the seabed is doing its job perfectly, without detonating. Because the real weapon isn't the explosion. The real weapon is the price tag on the possibility of one. The second threat is one you can see but cannot stop. 12 fast-moving contacts on radar, closing fast. 40 to 50 knots, fast attack boats. These things hit 52 knots. Your tanker does 15. Imagine a pack of armed jet skis circling your above-ground pool while you stand in the middle holding a garden hose. That is the tactical situation on the bridge of this ship. 8 boats fan out around the tanker. One crosses the bow at 200 meters, close enough to read the faces. Another runs parallel at 30 meters. A crewman on board is filming with a handheld camera. The radio crackles. Broken English. Marshall Islands vessel, you are entering restricted waters. Alter course for Bandar Abbas immediately. The captain keys his radio. His hand is not steady. This is Pacific Fortuna, transiting international waters under the right of transit passage, maintaining course and speed. International maritime law sounds very authoritative on paper. It sounds very small when 8 missile boats are circling your ship. The third threat is one you will never see at all. Hidden inside the cliff faces of Qasem Island are mobile missile launchers, trucks that roll out of hardened cave positions, fire, and roll back underground before anyone can trace the launch point. The Noor missile skims the wave tops at basketball hoop height. Mach 0.9, range up to 170 kilometers. It doesn't emit a single signal until the very last seconds. flying blind on inertial guidance, then turning on its radar seeker when it's already inside your last line of defense. Its bigger brother, the College Fars, does the opposite. It climbs on a solid rocket motor, arcs high into the sky, and then dives straight down onto the target at Mach 3 to Mach 5. The warhead weighs 650 kilograms. The Nor gives you maybe 30 seconds of warning. The College Fars gives you 2 seconds, less time than it takes to like a post. And no commercial vessel on Earth carries a defense against either one. So after all of that, you're probably wondering, why didn't Iran just fire? Because Iran didn't need to. The real weapon was never a missile. The real weapon was a calculator. Before this crisis, war risk insurance on this corridor was a fraction of a percent. A rounding error, the maritime equivalent of a boring commute. Iran dropped mines, sent boats, flew drones, made radio calls, fired 0 shots, and Lloyd's of London tripled the premium overnight. Iran's unofficial toll to skip the gauntlet, $2 million per transit. $2 million sounds like a lot of money. Until you see the insurance bill. Iran's total operational cost for this entire gauntlet, 1 drone, 8 boats, a VHF radio call, was almost nothing. And every shipping company on the planet already has a calculator open. This is Iran's masterclass in asymmetric warfare. You don't need to defeat a powerful enemy. You just need to make conflict expensive enough that they do the math themselves. And it's working. 47 tankers are currently sitting at anchor in the Gulf of Oman. Nobody wants to go in. Now remember that coffee and gas we talked about at the beginning? Here is what happens if Hormuz stays closed. Week 1. Tanker companies start rerouting around the Cape of Good Hope. That's 14 extra days. Around $1 million extra per voyage. Week 2. Oil supply tightens. Prices start climbing. Week 3. Your gas could be 20 to 30% more expensive. Your electricity bill goes up. Anything made from plastic gets more expensive, because almost everything is made from plastic. 20% of the world's seaborne oil moves through this one strait. Saudi Arabia's oil, UAE oil, Kuwaiti oil, Iraqi oil, all of it through one door. And Iran has the key. This is not just a military crisis happening somewhere far away. This is a direct hit to your wallet, right now. So what actually happens next? The United States has a carrier strike group holding position in the Gulf of Oman right now. 3 warships, 2,000 Marines, an air wing that could put every coastal launcher on Qasem Island out of business before a second cup of coffee. Mine countermeasure ships are forward deployed in Bahrain, purpose-built for exactly this situation. Iran knows all of this, every detail. So why is Iran taking this risk? Because Iran's real enemy isn't America. Iran's real enemy is time. Every day Hormuz stays closed. Every tanker that reroutes, every insurance premium that climbs, that is Iran's negotiating power. That is the leverage they are sitting on. Iran built a toll booth. But here's the problem with toll booths. Every day this one operates, more ships find another way around. Iran's leverage shrinks with every tanker that discovers the Cape of Good Hope route. And Iran knows one more thing. If the United States decides this toll booth needs to come down, no mine, no missile, no fast boat stops what comes next. This is a game of nerves. This is a war fought with calculators, not warheads. And right now, the whole world is watching, holding its breath, waiting to see who blinks first. If you want to understand the other choke points around the world that could trigger the exact same crisis, that video is next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Because these situations move fast, and I break every single one of them down exactly like this. See you in the next one.